You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda at 106.5 FM, K293CF Moreno Valley.
Welcome to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We are on AM 1050 KCAA all over Southern California every Thursday at 3 p.m., or you can catch us on Sundays at 2 p.m. on the rebroadcast. If you miss us live, make sure you check us out on the free Building Solid Foundations channel on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and on the Android app. Today, I have a special guest in the studio. This is a woman I've known for many years, not well, but I've known her as a business associate for many years, and she is beyond, I would say, beyond active and connected. Robbie Motter is the founder and CEO of Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs, GSFE, which is a 501c3 global nonprofit organization with over 300 members, which she founded in 2017. And I know she's opening new chapters overseas by the end of this year, 2 of them in the UK. Her mission is to empower, inspire, mentor, educate, and connect women to become more successful entrepreneurs. They run a live Zoom networks that meet monthly, they both on ground and virtually. They have special guests that will talk at these meetings, and it's a great place for professional women to connect, talk, share. And I happen to know from personal experience, you don't have to be a woman to attend the meeting and get something out of it, because I've attended some of the meetings. I've been very grateful for meeting some of the people that are there. Robbie's got a very extensive background. We get more into that as we get further into this. Robbie, welcome to Building Solid Foundations. It's a pleasure to have you. Always an honor to talk.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And always when I'm around you and Marie, I learn new things. And life is about learning, no matter what age you are.
That's right. Always, every day you wake up, you can learn something different, because there's always more to learn. I think the most learned person on the planet doesn't leave the planet with more than about a thimble full of information compared to the infinite ocean that's available out there. Right. There's more than you'll ever be able to learn. And it's all fascinating. All of it's fascinating. So thank you, Robbie, for being on. Now, I know Robbie, I think I first met Robbie, I want to say a little over 10, 12 years ago. At that time, I was new in the position of the IVBCF, a nonprofit group that was started by Marie, and we were doing a charity event. I remember we did a fashion show. I think it was an art auction involved. It was our first kind of those type of bigger events, trying to figure out how things work. And I do remember that Robbie was responsible for bringing probably half the people that attended that event. I remember she had a lot of tables, and they were all, "Oh, who brought you?" "Oh, Robbie Motter." I'm referring to Robbie Motter. I'm referring to Robbie Motter. Robbie invited all these people I talked to. We were really grateful for that, because it helped really make that first event we did a big success. And I also learned at that point how very well connected you were in the community and around. And since then, I've got to know you with other things you've done. So I appreciate what you do and your heart. The truth is, you could easily just be retired and enjoying life there in inland California, but you instead choose to spend your time, effort investing in other people. So what motivates you to want to do that?
Well, if I wasn't doing what I do, I'd probably be dead. So I wouldn't have an opportunity to do what I'm doing. I think as you grow older, the best thing for a person to do is stay active with all ages. And when you're helping people achieve their goals, it's a wonderful feeling, and it just makes you feel good. I'm going to do this until I have my last breath.
Which seems like a long time from now, because you're like the Energizer Bunny. You just keep going and going and going. And every time I reconnect or hear what you're doing, it's always something bigger and better than the last thing you've done. I find that fascinating. Now, you had another group that you're with, the NAFI group, and I think at some point you decided to start your own.
Well, what happened? I was with NAFI 39 years. I was with their volunteer global coordinator, interacting with all their networks all over the country. And in 2017, I formed my nonprofit, even while I was still, because what was happening, NAFI was a profit company, and anytime I did anything, I couldn't get any in-kind or grant money or anything. So kind of used that but what happened when COVID came, NAFI decided to not use the NAFI name anymore, to go a whole new direction, even though they built that name for 40 years, and just they're now doing diversity. They don't do anything with networks, and it's a whole different world. So it worked out perfectly because then I decided I like helping with people in the networks. So we took the California networks and we talked to the members and said, this is what's happening. Love to have you come on board. We'll grandfather you in until it's time for your, renewals. And everybody said, how come you didn't do it sooner?
Okay, that's great. And I say I've mentioned I've attended some of the meetings and I'm involved. I've actually talked to Marie, who runs your San Diego group, and asked her, can I be a member? She said, absolutely. You can be a member too. I see a lot of value in it.
We have the men now as ambassadors that support
Right,
women, which is a
right,
great thing.
right. And now, so my background, interesting. On this show, we've got these shows, and I put them up on the streaming, and I put them up on YouTube. The single most watched episode is the episode with the women in construction management, and that was a episode that was two alums of the school where I work. I run a construction management degree program that I brought in to talk about what's it like to be a young woman in your mid-20s who's working on a site with all these guys and running the show. And it was a fascinating discussion. And one reason I did that was to kind of highlight there are avenues for women to go into that they don't know exist for them. And sure. One reason in my industry that's obviously heavily male dominated, the construction industry is very heavily male dominated, but the women that work in there have fantastic opportunities and fantastic pay. They just don't know what's available to them. Nobody told them it was something they could do, or they think that it's something that is a disgusting, gross, dirty job or something like that. Not when you're managing, you're not in the trench. And I found that to be an interesting discussion, and I like the idea of finding a way to help people break into something they didn't know they could get into. And I see a lot of that in you, that you're helping women find the doors that they didn't know were there, find ways to get in and connect with people and find avenues to find success and career paths that maybe they didn't know they had.
It's interesting because I have a special talent in that. I don't know how it came, but it's been with me for years, where I can see things in people that they don't see. I remember one person, I said, you'd be a great writer. I don't know how to, yes, you're a great writer. Just do it. And they found out they were a great writer. And since then, they've done 3 books, but they never thought they can write. So sometimes we just need a cheerleader and to keep us accountable. Like we say, I'm sure you've heard it too, Steve. So many people say they're going to write a book, but they still haven't written it because they haven't started or taken action. So I think what everybody needs is an accountability partner where they say they're going to do something, you say, okay, when are you doing it? Like Marie, you don't have to say that. If she said she's going to do something, it's going to be done. Just stay out of the way.
Yes, yeah, that's the key, is don't be the obstacle. That's right. And I've also learned, don't talk too much about it or you'll be involved in it before you know it. So
yeah, that happens too.
So and that's good. I think that's good for everybody, because it helps people get out of their people have to get out of their I guess inertia.
Comfort zone.
Yeah, people have a lot of inertia, and you got to get them started. Once they get started, they'll keep moving. They'll keep going. That it's just getting started. And I think for a lot of people, they don't know how to get started. They don't know what the first step is. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know how to to write the book. The hardest thing is to write the first page of the book. Well, don't write the first page of the book. Go write something about that's in the middle of the book, and write all that out, and then write something else, and eventually you can put the front end of the book on later. That's the last thing you want to do as a summary. If you want, start with what you can and just start doing something.
I think one of the easiest ways is do a chapter in a book, because the chapter doesn't overwhelm them. And once they do the chapter, they find out how easy it is. And then they write their own book. I've been in 36 books, and I finally wrote my own, but I've decided after I wrote my own that I prefer to be in chapters in books, because if somebody doesn't like my story, they're going to like one of the other stories in the book, and the book's going to sell much better.
Right. And also, you don't have the burden of having to do all the work of doing the book with the cover and the layout and all the stuff you got to do. If someone else does that, you just do the writing part of it.
Yeah.
Turn it in, yeah. Marie's book she just published was that she collected stories from other people and kind of created that collection and just wrote an intro to it. I think that's a good way to go for people to be a contributor. Start as a contributor, and then you don't have to carry the weight of it. And I think that's a good thing. You start with the small steps and build up from there. And then you may find out you're like the friend you mentioned who eventually wrote her own books. Maybe you like it so much you can do that.
It's true. It does happen. And you know, the other thing is, I think with social media, you never know who's watching you. So it's good to do that. I mean, that's how my international areas opened up to me of just being on social media. They connected with me and we built a relationship. And then I got to meet them. And, you know, and it's amazing. You never know who's watching you.
That's true. Yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes it's astonishing who connects with you, and you're like, "How did you find me?" And sometimes they found you through somebody who found you. And you're okay. That's an interesting industry connection, but it's kind of the old rule. You have to show up, and you kind of have to show up personally in some events, and you have to show up virtually and other things. And I'm really bad at social media myself. I'm really bad at it. Fortunately, I have someone that helps me post on social media when I don't, because I'm not a big person to follow social media stuff, but I do know how important it is, and I do know that it has opened up a lot of windows for me. We're going to take a short. I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to finish your thought there. We're going to continue this conversation on social media and staying connected and being there. I'm with Robbie Motter. Robbie Motter is the founder of GSFE, Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs, and it's a 501c3 nonprofit that empowers, educates, and connects women that are professionals. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Choose power today and help us create a cleaner planet. Over the past years, utility prices have rapidly increased. Power provides home energy solutions that would save money. Power is the world's first virtual solar company that aims to adopt sustainable energy worldwide. Our company delivers low-cost, clean, and reliable energy solutions. The solar investment allows you to become eligible for an income tax credit. The solar investment is a great way to provide long-term value. Power is the first solar company that reduces carbon footprint for a cleaner environment. Power is experienced and one of the fastest growing solar companies in the United States, which provide the best solutions according to your needs. Call today for your free solar consultation. Join us as one of our ambassadors and earn $1,000. Earn $1,000 when the installation is completed. Free sign up at www.power.com/marie.waite/ambassador. Feel good about what powers your life. Marie Waite, your solar consultant. 95137853316. Enjoy your life with solar.com.
For Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. I'm with Robbie Motter today. Robbie Motter is the founder of GSFE, a nonprofit organization that supports, helps, connects, and educates women professionals. And Robbie, right before the break, we were talking about the importance of social media, being connected, and you were going to relate a thought with us. Go ahead and continue what you're
thinking. I want to relate a couple things. Couple of this year I spoke at two chambers, and they contacted me and I said, well, do you need my bio? They said, no, we've read everything about you on social media. So it's really, and then the other thing that happened, from all the stuff I'm doing in London and different places, the head ambassador for the United Nations for World Peace contacted me. Now, I didn't know her. She said, I've been following you. I see what you're doing. I'm nominating you to be the California ambassador for world peace. And it goes through a vetting process. But it was interesting because, like, when I got my top secret clearance when I worked for the government, I had to give them every name I had, every place I lived, whatever. The only thing they asked me for was all of the places I'm listed on social media.
Oh.
So I guess they go through the process of checking all that out, doing the vetting process. But it's interesting to see. So it's really important to think about what you're posting on your social media because you don't know who's watching it. And like I said, all the openings from London and places in South Africa and the places that I'm connecting with have come from the postings on Facebook. I think it's the way of the world that's happening, with Zoom and TikTok and everything like that. Whether we like it or not, it's here. I mean, I'm
Right.
not a tech person, but I realize that, and I stress it to my members. I don't care if you don't like it, do it.
Yeah, and that's what I do. It's one of those things I don't care for, but I do. Matter of fact, this radio show started because of that. When I was restarting my company with my partners, we put a website together. I needed website content, and the content I needed was things that talked about the kind of projects we do and kind of basic background information of what we do, where we came from, how projects work. But I didn't want to do the whole thing of set the cell phone up at the kitchen table and just talk. So Marie was doing these shows, so I went to the studio where she was, and I rented a space, and we did it as a TV show kind of a thing. And it was really to create content because, again, I don't do social media very well, but I figure whatever I do, it better look high quality, it better look good. So I did that, and since we had the extra studio time, you got to rent the studio for half a day minimum. I had time to talk to other people about other things. So I started bringing other people in, and just like you, having conversations. And it led to the TV show. During the pandemic, everything shut down. We came back as more of a podcast style. But that's exactly where this show came from. And so now the show's kind of got a life of its own. And it is the primary base for most of my social media content in it. And I enjoy doing the show, but I don't like doing a lot of posting. So I can then have the show other people have things to post up in my social media.
Yeah, and like I said, every day is a learning day. I was a speaker at SCORE, Orange County yesterday, and there was a digital expert on one of the speakers as well. And one thing she said was that you have a website, but it's very important to have a video for you to speak on a video on your website. I thought, well, that's something I have to do. I didn't know about that. But again, we're in a new era. So videos are what people like. So
That's
people
right.
need, if they don't have that, they might want to think about doing that.
Right. And that's where, again, going on to a podcast, onto a TV show, onto an interview, something like that is a good way to do that, as opposed to just putting the camera up in front of your face and talking. And the nice thing is then it's kind of got a third party sort of stamp of approval on it, sort of thing. It looks like it's a little more legit, I guess. I like the better production quality, instead of being kind of cheesy and homemade. And I'm not an AV expert or any of that kind of stuff, but I know people that are. So why not utilize that connection? And I then can present what I know in an arena that looks much more professional. And that's exactly where all this kind of started from. So sometimes you have to take that what you don't want to do and find out a way to do it better and easier, and work with other people. Other people out there can help you.
Right.
Which is exactly what your organization is all about. It's connecting people together that can help each other. Because as they work together, they discover that each one of them brings something different to the table, and they can help each other get to where they want to go much faster if they work together. And I know that's really the crux of what you do and why you do it, is to help other people get there faster together.
And Steve, you never know when you show up who you're going to meet. Like, I recently showed up at Marie's, and I met that fabulous woman from Nigeria who just got her, and she communicated with me, and we're going to meet and have lunch. And she's joining my Riverside network because she lives in Riverside. And and everywhere I go, I meet somebody. Like, even yesterday, this gal came to me. Of course, she didn't know I didn't have a video. She's a videographer, another one. She said, I want to do a video of your organization for free. I thought,
well, there you go.
See, if you didn't show up, you wouldn't find those things.
And it's exactly what you needed when you needed it.
Yeah,
it's funny how that works. And that's the old thing about, that just seems like dumb luck. Well, no, luck is the old definition of preparation and opportunity, right? So the preparation, you have something that is ready to go. The opportunity, because you showed up, creates the opportunity, and it matches up. If you weren't there, it never would have happened. And if you hadn't done all the things you've done, it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
So
that's true.
you have to do both. Yeah, I fully agree with that. That's kind of I'm not a person that likes to do a lot of social events. Unlike, Marie does. I don't. But I've made fantastic connections through it. And by showing up, I've made wonderful connections, contacts, and had great opportunities. And it's been the events that I was most opposed to going to because it was like the wrong time, or I was too busy, or whatever. I'm tired tonight, or whatever. Those are the ones you show up and you go, man, if I'd have missed that opportunity would have slipped by. You just have to sometimes, it's like going to the gym. You don't want to go. You just don't want to go. But when you're done, you're going, I'm glad I went. I feel better. Everything's, and if I do that consistently, things will work better. And I find that even my business, my partner I met at a breakfast meeting that I really didn't want to go to. I was invited, and because I'd been kind of voluntold to go, this was years and years ago. And I figured, well, I don't want to be a flake. I don't want to just not show up and be that guy. So I'm going to show up anyways. And I didn't want to get up and get there by 7 a.m. And I got there and I feel like I'm completely out of my class. I'm around this table, and all these guys around the table, this is in Palm Desert, California. Well, you know who lives in Palm Desert. They're retirees, right? I'm in my early 20s at this time. So I'm looking around the table, and these guys, they're all, geriatric age, and I'm this young kid. Like, I don't belong here. But I listened to them talk. And all these guys are the most accomplished men you've ever heard. I mean, they were bank presidents in New York City, and stockbrokers and real estate brokers and all kinds of stuff. And I learned they were very open and welcoming to me. And that's where I met my business partner that day. And we've been friends. That was in 1991. We have been friends ever since. And we have run for 20 plus years. We've been doing projects together.
Just think, if you hadn't gone, you would have never
made that. If I'd have slept in that morning, I'd have missed the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
That happens to me all the time. A couple of weeks ago, I was invited to be a celebrity judge for a red carpet. I really don't like red carpet stuff, and especially driving 2 hours to Hollywood. But I decided I'd went because I had gone 2 years before and found some great entertainers. And the person, I wanted to support the person, so I went. And the two judges that were with me, both of them are movie producers. One of them also teaches tango. So she's going to come and be at our Christmas party and do a tango and teach us how to tango. But if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have met those people. So even though it was a 2 hour drive and I went by myself, like you said, when I got there and reconnected with people I met before and met new people, I was glad I went.
Yeah, exactly. The contacts you make, and I've learned that when I don't meet that key person, then wherever I went, I learned something that I didn't know. I learned a new concept, a new idea. I learned about a website that is revolutionary for me. I learned about a book. I learned something that could make a big difference. So yeah, showing up is a big part of it. And in these days, sometimes there's showing up in person and they're showing up virtually as well. So sometimes we can show up virtually, which can be easier, but I think there's a balance. I know there's a big debate, which is, which way to go post-pandemic. Do we go back on ground? Do we stay remote? Because there's a broader base there. I think the answer is both.
I think so too.
I think there are things that are good virtually because you have the opportunity to talk to people in different time zones, different countries that you couldn't possibly have if everybody was meeting at the local Starbucks. On the other hand, when you meet locally, you get to look people in the eye. You get to shake their hand. You get to know them personally. You get to have a little more time with them to talk. And I think there's the very human connection of reading the face and those type of things, and reading the body language. And both those things have to happen. Both the broad net and the intimate conversation are both necessary. So again, I'm one that has to force myself to do that a lot because I have a naturally introverted personality, which most people wouldn't guess because I seem to be out there all the time doing stuff, and I am. But that's a learned skill for me, and it's a little bit forced. But I have found that the benefits, the payoff on that, the ROI has been tremendous. Tremendous. Left to my own devices, if I tried to do everything from my house, I would not be anywhere near successful.
Yeah. I like the live better, but I understand. And we wouldn't be global without the virtual, because one of the things that we say is any of our networks that come in from other than Southern California have to be virtual so that all our California members can meet these people that are all over the world and they can meet us.
Right. So we're going to have to take another short break. We're going to come back right after this. I'm talking with Robbie Motter. Robbie Motter is just a phenomenal entrepreneur. She's a speaker. She's a life coach. She's a talk show host and a connector. She is the ultimate connector and empower of women professionals. We'll be right back after this on Building Solid Foundations.
Choose power today and help us create a cleaner planet. Over the past years, utility prices have rapidly increased. Power provides home energy solutions that would save money. Power is the world's first virtual solar company that aims to adopt sustainable energy worldwide. Our company delivers low-cost, clean, and reliable energy solutions. The solar investment allows you to become eligible for an income tax credit. The solar investment is a great way to provide long-term value. Power is the first solar company that reduces carbon footprint for a cleaner environment. Power is experienced and one of the fastest growing solar companies in the United States, which provide the best solutions according to your needs. Call today for your free solar consultation. Join us as one of our ambassadors and earn $1,000. Earn $1,000 when the installation is completed. Free sign up at www.power.com/marie.waite/ambassador. Feel good about what powers your life. Marie Waite, your solar consultant. 951-378-5316. Enjoy your life with solar.com.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. Today, I'm with Robbie Motter. Robbie Motter is a entrepreneur. She is a connector, networker. She is an author. She is a woman who has a heart for connecting professional women together to create more as a team. She also is the founder of GSFE, the Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs. And in that, there is an event, actually a series of events. It's not just an event. She's got an event coming up in London, but it is a series of events that are going on that involves the launch of 2 new chapters of her organization and also the honoring of many of her members with an alliance through another non-profit organization. So Robbie, kind of talk us through what you've got coming up on your new London tour that's going to be happening in a couple months.
Well, actually, it all began because I made the connection and the relationship through Facebook, Dr. Caroline Makaka, who's in 159 countries. And a couple of years ago, she said to me, I want to nominate you to get your honorary doctorate degree. And I sort of ignored it. But then this year, I really thought about it and thought, wow, with all the work I've done with women over the years, yes, I should do that. Then I found out after I got mine in April that I had the opportunity to start nominating people, not only in my group, but outside of my group, that I felt were deserving. So I looked at who we had, and we have some amazing women and men. And I nominated, I think there's 27 going to London. And in addition, we have Dr. Makaka runs LONI, Ladies of All Nations International. And that's her organization, which is a nonprofit in all these countries. And they're going to host us. And then when I was in London last year, I met another doctor, Pauline Hall. So it's a combination of a lot of things that we're going to be hosted. I mean, yes, there's going to be the graduation, which it's coming from Atlanta, and they're going to be there to do the graduation. But Dr. Makaka is like the host of us, and they're doing a white party to honor us. They're doing a tea. We're launching our network. There's a gala, and those of us that are going earlier from connections that she has, we're also going to be honored at a Vietnam gala, and also another gala of another woman who has done works in Sierra Leone for 22 years, built tons of schools, and then we're going to Parliament. So I mean, it's like magic. I mean, we're coming back. When I went last year, I thought they treated me like I was the queen. So I know that all my members that are going to have a fabulous time, because for some of them, it's the first time they've ever been to London. And they do things differently. They like to dress up, and like every event, you have to have a different color. So we have the chore of how can we get it all in one suitcase. But they're just wonderful. And I came back last year. I do a lot, like Marie does a lot. You do a lot. But I came back thinking I wasn't doing enough when I saw all the work that they do. But they're just usually they're really beautiful people, and I'm excited that I get to go back, but I'm more excited of the experience that they're going,
And yeah, I was very honored that I was included on that list this year, and I want to thank you for that, because I know
You're very
that
deserving, Steve. You're very
I appreciate that. And I know that, primarily your group are ladies. And I appreciate that. I feel like a little bit like I'm crashing the party a little bit, but I appreciate you so much. And I really appreciate the honor. And I looked at the list of what you're doing over there. You're launching 2 new chapters of your GSFE.
Yeah, one is going to be in London and one is going to be in Chelsea. They're both being launched by different people who have different networks. And then I'm almost pretty sure that when we go to those places, I'm going to meet people. Like I'm even thinking about when I go to the Vietnam event, I'm starting to build a relationship with them. And then there'll be people from Africa and Italy. So I can just see that this is like the springboard for many areas.
So this is one of those, you have a vision to create an international, global, you aimed at the global society, which means the vision was there from the start to make it international. And then you meet this person through Facebook. You end up creating a relationship. This leads through a series of events to where now you have an opportunity to meet people from multiple other countries that can truly make this international global society happen. This is the connection. This is the showing up. This is the following up. This is the building the relationships. And really everything we do about business success, life, is about relationships.
And what's interesting, LONI, the Ladies of All Nations, is mostly a service. We're business, so we're a great match. And many of the people that are in LONI do business, but their whole focus in LONI is to build schools and do things. So we're the other side of that, where they can come and talk to us about their business. So it's a great, great match.
And those two come together. So as I mentioned earlier in this show, I was the president of the organization Marie founded, the Inland Valley Business and Community Foundation. That's why it was business and community. The idea was that the local community doesn't work unless the local businesses are thriving, and the local businesses thriving don't work unless they help the community work. The two work together. The businesses generate resources that then the community needs to access those resources to get stronger, so they can then in turn support those businesses, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And that works on a local scale, a regional scale, and a global scale. And so I think you're right. It's a perfect combination. You need to have the community service side alongside the business service, and business is service anyways. business, generates income and makes money, but business is about service. The whole idea of business is find a need and help to fill it. Find something somebody wants that they don't have and find a way to provide that. That's providing service that just paid. The only difference is on the community side is generally you're providing the service for people that either cannot or don't have the ability to pay for it. So what you generate in the business side helps pay for that. That's the charity side of it. So it all works together. And the bottom line is everybody ends up better than where they were.
I agree.
That's the ultimate goal of anything we do in business or community service is help other people end up better than we found.
We become the we, not the me.
That's right. That's right. Working together. Humans are not really designed to be isolated creatures. They're designed to work together in a culture and societies and communities. And we're designed to have to rely on each other. None of us can have the knowledge, the skills, the physical abilities that none of us can have that we need to survive on our own. We all need to rely on other people. We're all pieces of puzzles in a big mosaic. So we just have to know our part. So it's exciting what you've got coming up. The graduation event looks like a lot of I guess in England they call it pomp and circumstance. All the stuff with the robes and the full regalia, and they want the flags and everything going on. So it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic event.
Yeah, our 27 aren't the only ones graduating. There are people coming in from other countries. So the exciting thing is our girls know pretty much, they don't, in fact, some of them don't even know each other because they're in other networks, but they're going to build that relationship. But they're also going to build a relationship with the others that are coming in from other countries to graduate. So I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited because there's some people over there I haven't met yet.
Right. It's going to be a little bit of a United Nations kind of a ceremony. I can see that just from the little glimpses I've had of it so far. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I really am. And, when I was first approached, Marie asked me about it. My first thought was, oh gosh, it's the end of November. It's like a week before finals at the school. I don't know what you can do this. But the more I thought about it, I thought, the opportunity, the ability to, I've always respected and admired the people that you and the people you're connected with. You don't hang out with I would just say with low caliber people. You hang out with the best. That's what I've learned from you. All your connections are good people.
The people with great hearts that care about others. That's the people that are in my life.
Right. And so I found that to be well worthwhile. So I really appreciate that. I'm very much looking forward to it. I myself have not been to London before. I know that's a very busy trip and there's limited time for sightseeing, but I'm actually much more interested in the events you have going on. So, the people, because I'm looking at, as you're saying, the people that are there to connect with, the people there to talk to people from different countries, from different cultures. I find that thoroughly fascinating. We live in a world that theoretically is all connected because of the internet and all that stuff. But the truth is we all still live very much in our own little microcultures. I don't know what it's like to live in Israel. I don't know what it's like to live in Italy. I don't know what it's like to live in any of those places really. But to talk to people and get firsthand and understand who they are, where they come from and what they do is invaluable information. It makes the world smaller and it's great to then have those contacts. So I appreciate that. And that's
actually another opportunity came originally. Dr. Makaka was honoring, it's honor heroes. And it was just, she gave me first 7 names, then she came back and gave me 5. But then yesterday she said, because we're so excited of all of your people coming, you're going to get, all of you are going to be on November 20th, you're going to be able to go on a call and you're going to get that award. And you're going to be able to talk for 3 minutes on this call with other international people. And at her event, at her Loney event, all of you are going to, besides your graduation and what happens there, at the Loney event, you're going to be getting humanitarian awards.
Okay,
so, that's
fantastic.
Cool. It's an international humanitarian award.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, and so all this is connections. It's great that it's coming around where you can do all this stuff in the same 2-week period while you're over there. We're going to have to take another short break. We're going to wrap this conversation up when we come back with Robbie Motter. And we've been talking about her Global Society of Female Entrepreneurs, her international group of women professionals, and how they help connect, the connection between business and community service. And we've talking about just showing up and taking advantage of the people, of the relationships that you can meet and contact. This is Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We'll be right back.
Choose power today and help us create a cleaner planet. Over the past years, utility prices have rapidly increased. Power provides home energy solutions that would save money. Power is the world's first virtual solar company that aims to adopt sustainable energy worldwide. Our company delivers low-cost, clean, and reliable energy solutions. The solar investment allows you to become eligible for an income tax credit. The solar investment is a great way to provide long-term value. Power is the first solar company that reduces carbon footprint for a cleaner environment. Power is experienced and one of the fastest growing solar companies in the United States, which provide the best solutions according to your needs. Call today for your free solar consultation. Join us as one of our ambassadors and earn $1,000. Earn $1,000 when the installation is completed. Free sign up at www.power.com/marie.waite/ambassador. Feel good about what powers your life. Marie Waite, your solar consultant. 95137855316. Enjoy your life with solar.com.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio Talk Show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We're talking today with Robbie Motter. She is the founder of GSFE, Global Society of Female Entrepreneurs. And Robbie, we've talked a lot about kind of where this came from and what you've got coming up. But let's share a little bit about success stories. How has GSFE affected the lives of the professional women in your organization?
I think that's what makes me really excited about the work I do, because some of these women have been with me 20, 30 years. They've known me, for a long time, and I've really seen their growth. When you come together with people that are positive, it helps you to give you more self-confidence. I see them writing books. I see them speaking. I see them stepping out of their comfort zone to do things. I see them thinking globally and not just locally, because what I say to them in today's world, if you have a product or service that you can sell anywhere, why are you just thinking locally? Think globally. Put yourself out there. And also the other thing is, I think they're learning they don't have to be perfect. That perfect sometimes holds them back. They're waiting for everything to be perfect, and then somebody steals their idea. So it's like going to this beach. You put your feet in if it's not too cold, and you put your feet in a little bit more. Same idea. So I think that for me, I can see them being more confident. I see them taking steps they never thought they would take. I see them, in some cases, we just did a book where they had to tell stories that probably they never thought they could ever tell. And from those stories, they were healed. It was like getting, so it's just, I think that that's what it's all about. And I'm just thrilled that they're willing to do that they're willing to get out of their comfort zone, that they're willing to take chances. And the other thing they've learned is to show up. So funny because sometimes they'll say, "I didn't want to show up, but I heard your voice in my head, so I went." And they're learning to ask. And that was really hard for a lot of them. Men have been asking, they're out on the golf or doing this, they're always asking. But women were always helpers. And the other thing they're learning that they don't always have to say yes, that sometimes they need to say no. You got to look at what is your passion, and you have to do your passion. If you're not doing your passion, you're not going to be happy.
Right. So I think that's a great feedback. So let's go through and think globally. The world nowadays is much bigger than what's in your neighborhood. Through the internet, through Amazon and eBay and those type of things. If you're selling products, through services, you can put websites out there. You can advertise on YouTube and on Facebook, and you can get things done in a much larger thing. And there may not be enough people in your general area that want what you have, but there's a few people in a million different areas around the world, that adds up to a big customer base. The perfection, I've always looked at perfection as the most insidious and sneaky form of procrastination. Because we don't, perfection seems like a virtue when really it can be an excuse. As soon as it gets ready, then I'll do it, and it's never ready. And what it really is masking the fear of, I don't want to jump out there. Most procrastination comes from fear. And
That's
so
true.
perfectionism can just be an offshoot of that. And I've been guilty of that myself, where I've been, I just want this to be perfect. I realize, no, it's perfect's never going to happen on this planet. So let's get it out. And if let's say I produce a book, my 80% good book is better than your 100% perfect book you never published.
Yeah, that's
right?
True.
So get it out there, and guess what? You can always revise it and redo it later if you want to. And then you'll find out it's not a big deal. And then the show up we already talked about. If you don't show up, nothing can happen. If people don't know where you are, if you're off in a corner somewhere with the best idea in the world and never tell anybody, you're going to go to the grave with the best idea in the world. There was an old Zig Ziglar saying that the graves of the world are full of the greatest music never written.
That's true.
Yeah, it never got outside the person because for whatever reason they didn't want to do it. They were too busy. They were afraid. Whatever. So if you show up, meet people, talk to people, you find the opportunities, and all that stuff that you look at other people and say, how come that never happens to me? I wish I could have that kind of a fall in my lap. Well, that happens because you show up, and when you show up, you're prepared when you do show up.
But the other thing is, when opportunities come their way, they have to take action and do it. Not
take action.
Not think about it.
That means you have to have already prepared, and then you make the decision, and that goes to the next thing is the ask. Maybe that opportunity didn't present itself to you. Maybe the opportunity is standing there waiting for you to ask. And they don't know that you could be the solution to their problem. They don't know that you could be the collaborator they've been looking for. So I think the ask is huge. That's kind of the old sales thing. The biggest reason that most salespeople don't do well is they never actually ask for the sale. They'll talk you to death over features and benefits and comparisons.
And they don't listen.
They never actually get to the point of saying, so here's the contract you want to sign.
Or also they don't listen because sometimes they don't have to talk so much. They've already got the sale and they keep talking and then they lose the sale.
And they talk because they were afraid to stop and ask. Because when you ask, somebody could say no.
Yeah.
And so we have to get past that. Guess what? Some people are going to say no. And that's okay, because your last point is it's okay for you to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. People pleasing is something I think we all have built in, as we want people to like us, accept us, think positively of us. And when we say yes, they do that. But sometimes you have to tell people no, because we have finite energy, finite time, finite resources. And not everything fits where we want to go. I think if people have done the work of identifying who they are, what they are, why they exist, where they're going, what their big objective is, then it's easy to make those yes and no decisions. Because when things come up, you can look at an opportunity and say, this fits what I want to do and my purpose, or it doesn't. This gets me closer to where I want to go, or it doesn't. Even if it's something I never thought of before, this fits, and I can say yes to it, and opportunities. Or I can look at it and say, definitely this is not what I want to do.
Another thing people need to remember, we don't compete, we complete each other.
That's a fact. Collaborative mindset. We work together. So with that, we're going to have to wrap the show up. Thank you, Robbie. I always appreciate talking to you. You are an absolute treasure trove of wisdom. And I appreciate it. And the connections you have, like I say, are always top notch. So it's always an honor to talk with you. I really look forward to being able to spend time with you when we go over to London. I'm really relishing that time that is coming up. And I want to thank you for sharing with our audience today. Robbie Motter, she is the founder of GSFE, the Global Society of Female Executives. Check them out. I believe they have a website. What's the website, Robbie?
It's gsfeus.com, sorry.
gsfeus.com. Check that out if you are a professional woman and want to get interested. And by the way, men can be involved too. This is Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. And until next week, go do something.
Go ahead and say it. We're all ears. KCAA.